Hi, I'm Chris Welter. I'm an entrepreneurship professor here at Xavier and wanted to give you some insight into how we do experiential learning in our classes here. In my undergraduate new venture planning class, we try to partner our teams with local entrepreneurs to act as mentors as they go through the process of coming up with an idea and getting that as close to possible to a working business by the end of their semester. So I have with me here Ese Obrima. She is a senior in entrepreneurship and studying entrepreneurship and innovation as well as marketing here, and Stacy Kessler, who's a local entrepreneur who runs a co-working space called Platform 53, as well as consulting with solopreneurs, helping them with client, brand, and business strategies. Ese, I wanted to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your business idea that you had for class?
So the idea that me and my partner Nicole came up with was based on the problem that a lot of black women on college campuses face, and that's that we don't have the access to do our hair in terms of it being affordable, in terms of it there being enough hair salons that cater to us specifically. So the idea we came up with was creating an app that essentially paired up students on college campuses. So it would create a database of people on college campuses who know how to do black hair, and so you could go to the app and look through and see who knows how to do hair, how much they're charging, and whether or not you can afford that, and you could pair up and figure out where you want to do your hair and all of that.
Excellent. So what do you feel like you learned about the startup process through the course of the semester?
A lot. I think the most important thing was just being very consumer focused. I think there was a lot of the times when we were really just oh my gosh, we have an idea, let's go. And you would always bring us back and be like, what's the consumer thinking? What's the consumer thinking? And we spent a lot of time just interviewing people to kind of make sure that we were getting to the crux of the issue that we wanted to solve for the consumers, essentially.
Excellent. Stacy, how were you involved in the process?
Yeah, so I was their mentor, and so that looked like meeting with them a couple times through the semester, helping them think through their ideas, give them feedback when they wanted it, and other times just asking critical questions and getting them to think a little bit deeper, think in a different way to constantly help them improve their idea and just learn more about what it's like to really start a business.
So Ese, what do you feel like you gained from having Stacy as a mentor throughout the course?
I think having Stacy would bring up things that we wouldn't think about. And so in just that sense, she really just broadened our perspective and forced us to not limit what we were doing. I think we were, for part of it, kind of closed-minded as to this is what we're capable of doing, so this is what we're going to do. And so Stacy would be like, well, there's this and that and this and that and this and that you can totally do, and that's totally feasible. So I think in terms of that, she was able to just help us broaden our perspective and give us insights on things that we didn't know about in terms of marketing and interviewing people and what the business plan could look like and finances and just building up the idea. And I think it was really helpful to have someone on the outside who wasn't necessarily as emotionally attached to the idea, because when you are, it's no, I don't want to change. And then there's also someone who has a lot more experience and is able to give you the greater worldview as to what this could look like in the real world and help you put it in that context.
Great. So Stacy, you've been helping me with this course for a few years now. You've mentored a number of teams. What do you feel like it takes to contribute as a mentor in a course like this?
Yeah, so I think sometimes it's natural to want to give advice, and while sometimes that's appropriate, I think in this instance it's really helping the students develop their critical thinking skills. And so how do you help them by asking probing questions and getting them to think more strategically about what they're learning and what you do about it, and also kind of giving them confidence that they can think bigger, like Ese was saying. And sometimes they'll come up with the realization that, hey, maybe I need to pivot, or maybe this isn't the right idea, and just helping them think through those change points and feel comfortable in the decision that they make.
Great. And now that you've done this for a while and you've done this in the real world, how similar do you feel like this classroom experience is to the processes you went through in starting your own business?
Yeah. So I think it's really awesome that they are getting the opportunity to develop an idea that they're passionate about and really start from what's the customer need to what are the solutions that can help solve for that, actually going out and talking to consumers and the people that they want to serve, testing their hypotheses. So that is all, true for when you're really starting a business in the real world, and all things that I did. So I love that they are encouraged to go on an interview, that they are exploring different ideas and encouraged to learn and iterate and pivot. And I know you guys pivoted a couple times and explored different ideas and different who's on who you wanted to serve. And that's all things that I went through as an entrepreneur as well. And so from that standpoint, I think it's really applicable. Maybe the stakes are a little bit less, but at the same time, you could literally go out and start that business, and you have laid the groundwork to do that. And that's really the mindset that you're trying to teach, I think.
Yeah. So, Essay, what would you want to tell prospective students or prospective entrepreneurs about what you gained from the mentoring process throughout your startup process in this course?
Just the sheer importance of it for, especially if you want to start a business, this really puts it in perspective for you in terms of the network you build and the advice your mentor is able to give you about what this really does look like in real life, not just how it pertains to your idea that you're coming up with is so important. And then also just, even if you're not starting a business, the critical thinking aspects you brought up, how important it is, because you are going to go into the workforce and you are going to meet people who think at that level, so that you've interacted with people like that. You've been forced essentially to think on that level and think quick. I think that really impacts and helps you when you go into the workforce.
Great. So, Stacy, anything else you'd want to share with students or alumni or any of the friends of the Williams College here about experiential learning and about this process?
Yeah, I think it's just so important. Experiential learning, I think, is really the future of education, and that's really going to set students up for success in the real world. It teaches you to think hands-on, to actually test and learn and iterate, develop those critical thinking skills, and even if people taking this class aren't going to go start their own business or become an entrepreneur, the idea of solving problems, identifying needs, overcoming barriers, using information to make smart decisions is applicable in any situation. And this is just a really great way to put that into practice and really test it out and learn those skills hands-on.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time and your experience with us and with the broader population, and thank you again.
Thank you.